Okay, this meeting of the Conservation Commission will now convene at 7:04 PM, June 8th. First up, we have a notice of intent. DEP 104-1130 continued from May 18th for Lot A West Street. They have requested a continuance till
June 22nd.
June 22nd.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously, continued to June 22nd. Next up, we have notice of intent, DEP 104-1133, continued from May 18th. Pelham Road, 50 Federal Operating Company, Duplex Company.
I'll bring you up to speed on the project. Since we last spoke on the project, we sent we prepared some additional response to Pine and Bond to meet their comments. Pine and Bond has since reviewed our project and agreed that we meet the 10 standards for master storm policy. To give you a reminder of the project, this is Pelham Road. Over here is Federal Street, and our project is to build 4 duplex structures in a single unit. So it's going to be 9 rental units on the parcels. The wetlands are on the opposite side of Pelham Road. The project has now evolved so that we're doing our water main extension from Route 9 to this location, and then we're going to go overland behind our project to provide water to the remainder to the buildings. The sewer connection, we're now collecting all the buildings to a single sewer line that's going to connect to the existing sewer manhole on the street, because the Pelham Road has a sewer main going through it. And as I said, Pine Bond has reviewed the stormwater management systems here, and here, and agreed that we're meeting the standards of the stormwater. That's where the project lies. We feel that there is not going to be really any more changes to this project. So the commission is comfortable with the project, then we can move ahead and request you to issue an order.
How do you feel about that? You've got a planning board tomorrow night?
We have planning board tomorrow.
How do you feel that's going to go?
We feel that we're going to remain with this project. The planning board is not going to be looking to change any of the work in the buffer or change any of the buildings or anything like that.
Keith, again, would you point out the 50 and the 100 foot setback?
So this is your wetland limit here.
Right.
This is your 50 to the edge of our side of Pelham Street. And then this is the 100 that extends into our parcel.
Okay. I did note that there was a minor tweak that had to be done to the plan to deal with the 15% non-impervious surface within the aquifer zone.
Correct.
What tweaks did you have to make to the original plan to deal with that issue?
So this line here coming across the property,
Yep.
that's the division between the primary aquifer protection zone and outside of the aquifer protection zone. So any lot that is being developed can't have more than 15% impervious area in that aquifer protection district. So this previously was a duplex. The original proposal was 10 units, rental units. And in order to come under that 15%, we revised this to a smaller building to be a single rental unit, and we've removed that impervious area out of this section so we can be on.
Thank you.
And the driveway of the second,
This driveway here.
that's less than 15%.
Correct.
Anybody else from the board? Julie, do you have any concerns?
Only that I didn't myself get a chance to review the set of revisions that came in Thursday. But it sounds like I spoke to, well, I emailed to Doug, the planning director. He said that, they didn't have concerns. So if we're like delegating the review, the peer review, then it sounds like good.
I mean, as long as it still meets, it still has to get a stormwater permit from the stormwater committee, which is this committee, so done by Stephanie. If Stephanie's happy with it, it meets the Wetlands Protection Act, as long as it meets the stormwater, we wait for that. It's a separate permit.
So the question I had asked David earlier today was, in the wetlands regulations, in the peer review, did the peer reviewer, Ty and Bond, actually name that they were reviewing the work under the Wetlands Protection Act? It sounds like
Those are the
same exact regulations, the 10 stormwater standards primarily,
those,
are our main things to look at. Everything else.
those, they're 10 standards, or there are the
9 hours. There were like 9 standards that are in the wetlands, right? So it's probably that they're even a
10,
little
yeah.
stricter now, right?
It's 10.
10 now.
That satisfies it.
Okay, anybody from the audience? Hearing none. What are the wishes of the commission?
We issue the conditions of the project. For the record, I have reviewed the minutes for this, the April 27th meeting, so I do satisfy them now.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Very good. Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Signature page for us.
Next up, we have a request for determination of applicability.
Hi, I'm Dan Belchertown. I have a couple of these. This kind of summarizes what I'm talking about here. If you want to look at it, you can. So I am a science teacher, and I'm used to having 45 minutes. I'm going to try to condense into a couple here. Sorry. So I'm here with my neighbors and friends from Holland Pond, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with what happened in Holland Pond last year. So this Holland Pond is the smallest of the 3 tri-lakes, and so we all live on the lake as well as a number of other concerned citizens. It's an amazing lake. It's 11 acres. It's the deepest lake. It has 45 feet, so it has some of this volume, but that volume, always thought like maybe dilution is the solution to pollution. It has not been the solution. The depth of the lake caused a problem. Last year we had a massive algae bloom. Sorry, this is before the bloom is a video of some otters and stuff like that. We have an amazing ecosystem. We get otters and animals and stuff, but now it's an otter. But this is what our lake looked like all summer last summer. Starting at the beginning of July, we had a sudden onset of a full lake algae bloom that continued all, and this is just further away. We're not in a developed area. There's not a lot of houses or lawns or anything on there.
Everything's on septic.
So any new construction has been on sewer, and all like land transactions in the last 10 years have been transitioned to sewer. So about probably, I'd say, I don't know what percent you think, probably hopefully between 65 and 70% at least on sewer now. So it's not likely that it's a septic, but it may be. could be, but I also am a science teacher, so I've been checking the lake. I have a phosphate kit. So this is our pond, that's Arcadia right next to it. You can see, like, and they connect. There's water flow between our lake, and you can see the algae flow in Arcadia. And the algae can't sustain itself over there. So it only can exist in our lake. And in my mind, I'm a science teacher, and like, for me, that means that there's an influx of nutrients. There's gotta be an influx of nutrients. And I'm like going around trying to point fingers in my neighbor, like, who is it? We can't find it. I have my science kit in my classroom, the hot surface level, pretty reliable. And everywhere I check, phosphorus levels are slightly like mesotrophic. They're not that high. So I'm a science teacher, like, it's gotta be something, right? It's not going to Arcadia. I keep waiting for it to spread and everyone to freak out in town because it's not beaches there, it's not beach our lakes. And like meanwhile, like people have hay fever symptoms in the lake because of cyanobacteria. It's confirmed. The DEP came and labeled this toxic cyanobacteria. We had placards all around our lake for 6 months saying not go near the water, don't let pets near the water, no touching the water. And so I didn't know what to do. So I went back into our last lake report in 2020. And you can look in that report and you can see, well, this is just kind of like some of the stats of the lake. You can see the data, they did an amazing year-long survey of the lake where they checked it out and they saw basically our lake is reaching a temperature inversion really early. So in June, we already have a warm upper layer, and so this is the temperature. But after the turnover in the spring, we get a really strong non-mixing layer, and the depths we're getting a totally hypoxic zone. That's the dissolved oxygen zone. It's basically zero, below 6 meters, starting in June, all the way through October. This is in 2020, so this is 6 years ago. So we have a huge hypoxic area, and what that does is when you have all that decomposition and no oxygen, you get anaerobic bacteria that instead of getting oxygen to survive, they actually go into iron oxide, and they pull the oxygen out of the iron. But the problem is the iron binds to a phosphate. And when they take the iron oxygen off the iron, then the phosphate is released into the water column. But again, it varies. You can see this is in 2020. This is a chart of the phosphate levels. These are surface phosphate levels, the aluminum, water levels at the top, all under 30, which is like the signs of a Great Lake. But then at hypoaluminum area of even the lake, we have levels 200 up to 500 by the end of the season.
So if I might ask, what decomposition of what?
That's the question.
So have you ever been in the lake?
In the lake, I have 4 kids. I'm in there every day.
No, have you ever swum down to the bottom?
No, I can't get 40 feet. But I actually have ordered to go for a family to try to investigate because we've heard rumors
Of what?
of storm refuge in the 1930s hurricane being clouded.
It's full of logs.
Yeah. So that decomposition.
I've been down. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, it's absolutely filled with logs.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the hurricane at 38.
Yeah. So that's that. But the thing is, as it slowly we reach a tipping point, where the phosphate is released at such a level that these cyanobacteria that found that we have a certain species now that's able to either use flagella to go up and down, or it's using like a bladder sometimes. So it goes down at night. They all seem to keep in the water late at night, and they go up during the day. So they get the phosphate during the night, and they can come down deep where it's all being released in the anoxic layer, and they can come to the surface and they can live their wonderful life at the top until they die and go back to release more phosphate. Sorry, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, just over 100 micrograms per liter is considered what we call hyper-eutrophic. It's like what off the charts, and we're at 500. This is 6 years ago, but we didn't notice it at all until last year when the algae was struck. So the solutions are really expensive and involve a lot of permitting. Like the industry solutions are aeration, deep water aeration to add oxygen, or it's using alum to bind to phosphate. The problem with that is when alum changes the pH of the lake, so you got to add like acid while you add alum, and it becomes expensive, requires a lot of permitting. In East Hampton, West Hampton, they've had a couple of lakes like this, not like ours, not as deep as ours, but lakes with similar algal problems, trying to use barley grass. It's a very minimal, invasive thing to try. We're thinking about trying just the basic level of treatment, which would be 1 bale per acre of lake. And when the barley grass decomposes at the surface in shallow waters where there is oxygen, it has to be, it can't be in the deep water, we can't put it there. What it does is it releases bacteriostatic compounds in the lake. And I've had some peer-reviewed studies of it here, but basically they inhibit the cell division of the cyanobacteria. They don't kill it. They don't kill any algae. So we can't use it when the algae bloom has already started. It has to happen before the algae bloom because it prevents the cell division, preventing the bloom. So we're hoping that we can just try this and see. I mean, I expect we'll have a bloom this year, honestly, regardless. But I feel like it's not something that I can give you more than just testing data on from West Hampton and East Hampton in terms of like getting an actual permit. We're hoping to just try with some basically loose bales and some onion bags. You can see the schematics on there. Here's this is the East Hampton, what they do. They actually mount it to, and it has to be in less than 6 feet of water. In the shallowest areas, they take a bale, break it up into like 5 or 6 onion bags so it's loose, so it gets oxygen and so it can do aerobic decomposition. And then it again releases. It's like I forget the names of the actual like they're not even really sure exactly how it works. They just know that it's worked in a few studies. And then it decomposes at the end of the season. We pull the bags out and compost the barley grass offsite.
We know what is it about the barley?
So in if you look at the studies, they say there's a really low level long-term release of peroxide, which apparently interferes with the cell membranes of the cyanobacteria, but not algae. So it will not prevent normal algae from growing, but normal algae aren't going up and down and utilizing phosphate in that way. Yeah, so and the other system would be with 6 feet is too long for a stake. We would just use a cinder block and a rope and a soda bottle pulled up to. So they're doing a study there. It's encouraging. They haven't had an algae bloom in the last 6 years. They've been putting barley grass in every year. Still a little late for us to do it at this point. We had to go out and get all the data and stuff together. We would have loved to have started earlier in the spring because if we try to put it in the album and started, we're just contributing to oxygen reduction. So we'd want to do it soon if we're doing it.
Any guess as to when you said that this hasn't happened in the past? You said very recent years.
Yeah.
Any guess as to why we might be seeing it now?
I mean, I don't know if you have any thoughts.
I do, but I'm curious to hear what you say.
So I mean, I think there are also obviously anthropogenic sources of phosphate that have been added, and I think over time we're getting more and more inspiration to like a tipping point. Once you get that tipping point and that phosphate source being released, then it becomes a cycle. So I think in combination with like just generally warm springs. I mean, it's the lake is separating to a higher hot and cold layer much sooner, I think. So it's creating a longer period of time than that. Because you can see as the season goes on, by October is where the peak. And then as soon as fall turnover happens at the end of November, we notice as soon as the fall turned over, it's gone. So I think it gets worse and worse as the season goes on. So I think the longer that warm season is. But Mr. Knight, I don't know what you think.
I think there was a lack of rain last year. And I don't think that the water getting turned over, as you put it, but you weren't getting a flush either, where it was leaving the lake.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as you probably know, the water drains in 2 different directions out of there.
I mean, but I think my only fear is since the phosphate is so deep in the lake, that most of the drainage happens in the top 5 meters or so. And I think that deep water area is probably pretty undisturbed for the season.
Which isn't disturbed.
The deep water areas that have the phosphate, at the highest levels of phosphate, are probably not as disturbed. I know because but
I mean, there's always been a deep thermocline in there.
oh yeah.
I mean, that water down there will get down into the 40s and 30s.
No, and you can
Even
see
in July.
Yeah,
not
August. Yeah, you can see it. It doesn't change actually. There's no change over the season except for the turnover.
Right.
Temperature. Yeah, but something has changed.
I think you weren't getting the flush.
Yeah.
I don't think you had enough water coming in from rain and everything else from surface drainage that you weren't getting enough water leaving it.
Yeah. Could be.
And the drought would have allowed the concentrations to build up. And, you know, I think in a year with normal rainfall, it probably would not be an issue.
Yeah. But I also think we've had droughts before without it happening. This is the first year
It's documented.
Yeah. Well, Dick, you've been here for 30 years? Almost? In the last 30 years, he hasn't seen it happen the same way it happened. So, and the only other thing is to say that that in the 2017 report, we had a 2017 study done as well on the lakes. And for some reason, I mean, again, maybe water with it or not, but the phosphate levels never got above 100 micrograms, which is it still got a little high, but it never got. And then by 2020, 3 years, we're now suddenly going over So, I mean, I'm on the side, I'm going to work with the Lakes Committee and try to get some more testing done, to find out what, so we can get some updated testing. It's been 6 years, but it's expensive. So we're just thinking about having a quality of life this year. It's like, it's our front yard, you know, and it's hard to live near when it's like that.
So, they just did sonar.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, I think, yeah.
And that wouldn't affect the owl.
No, it might help the algae. I mean, it's going to create more organic matter. That's kind of our unfortunate view of that. Because, yeah, sonar, with a company that doesn't recommend is copper treatment, which will do a one-time kill of the algae, but I think it will, if it happens again, it'll come like that. And then you don't want to keep just putting copper in the lake.
Can you remind me, what is the source of them for that?
Springs.
Springs, it's all spring fed? Okay.
Yeah, and there's also like, it could be coming from the springs. It could be a totally natural source of phosphate from the springs conceivably. But the testing for that is insanely hard to do, challenging. Because we don't even know where the springs come
So the watershed size of upstream, if you will, is.
Well, the biggest watershed is the Holyoke Range. Right now, the Holyoke Range has the only active spring coming in. That was under the houses across Federal Street. Under the road here.
Behind there?
You can see,
But that's the only spring?
not the only thing.
Yeah, but it's coming from the Holyoke.
Well, that's part of that watershed, I know that.
Yeah, so it's not the Holyoke Range State Park. I should have an aerial view of it. We're just doing my front of the drone.
Where's the end of the Holyoke Range?
It's right across the street.
Is that what that's considered? Is that hill is the end of the Holyoke Range?
Yeah,
Geographically,
Yeah.
and then you got a waterfall runs underneath the lake.
Yeah.
and this is the view from above my lake right there. That's a good drone view from above the lake.
There is some watershed coming in from Route 9, Holly Glen.
Yeah.
It's a funny system on Hot Brook. It goes in two different directions.
Yeah.
Depends on how many rocks the guy got.
Yeah, but still, most of it is still downstream. It's still downhill of Holland Pond, most of that thing. Both directions that goes, I think, are still not in our watershed. Well,
Yeah,
there's that swamp that also probably.
Yeah,
feeds
that
in.
swamp will go into.
Yeah. Yeah, and Arcadia. Mostly Arcadia, because that's what the Beaver area is on that. So the swamp mostly goes to Arcadia and bypasses Holland.
So the railroad bed.
Yeah, and that's now not a factor anymore. But I suspect that some of it.
That's not a factor.
Well, the railroad, they dug a culvert under the railroad bed to allow drainage from the pond because there's so much beaver activity. This
So
a
where
part
is
of
that drainage going to?
Arcadia.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a hydraulic connection
Oh,
between
yeah.
Arcadia and Holland.
There's surface water coming into this lake.
Yeah,
So it's not just spring fed.
well, it's underground water.
No, wait, okay,
Yeah.
hang on.
Yeah.
You have surface water and you have groundwater.
Yeah.
Okay? Are you getting surface water into this lake?
Well, I guess kind of.
What kind of, yes or no?
Well, yes, because there's sewers on Federal that will drain directly into that. I consider that surface water. The other
Yeah,
water,
That's surface water, that's right, yeah.
I don't know why.
And
you
there
did that.
probably is groundwater coming in there too.
Yeah, I
all
don't
right.
know why you're
This
I know you're
lake-
trying to tongue with me though.
No, listen, I want you to listen to us for a minute, okay? So this lake evidently has a problem, okay, a serious problem, serious water quality problem, right? Okay, and you're proposing, a solution possibly? I don't know, and, I guess as a trained hydrologist.
Yeah.
Okay, and someone who's done extensive water quality investigations, I'm just a little, hesitant to just, immediately say, yeah, this is great. Why don't we go ahead and do
Oh, yeah.
this? Particularly as it's a public water resource, okay? This isn't on your property, it's on a whole bunch of.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you a question. You've got a hat that says Tri-Lakes Association,
Yeah.
but I don't see any identification of the Tri-Lakes Association on this proposal.
Yeah.
Is the Tri-Lakes Association,
They've condoned it, but the Tri-Lake Association is historically not very
It's not,
not very friendly with our lake because we've been opposed to some of the treatments of the weeds in the past, pond weeds.
yeah, there needs, I would respectfully say that we need to have a lot more discussion about this before we propose or this is basically a uncontrolled experiment.
What could be the negative effect?
That's my question as well. What is, can you speak?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest, we've spoken to another doctor about it, a doctor of science. East Hampton, one who set up the experiments, and they're doing ongoing experiments in East Hampton with it. We spoke with them, and I can refer you to her as well. But I think my biggest thing, from my more amateur background in this, is the idea of possibly reducing oxygen. That's what reducing dissolved oxygen because of decomposition of organic matter. That's what I consider the biggest possible drawback. And that's all we spoke with the company that did the testing this year, and that's their concern too. So we said, is there anything you can see going wrong? They said, well, the chances of it going right, we don't know. But the chances of it going wrong, the only thing you could possibly do is reduce dissolved oxygen. That's the only thing. we're worried about.
Basically for the decomposition of the barley.
Of the barley. But I think, again, my thought is the amount of barley we're putting in compared to all the organic matter was just killed by
Right.
an herbicide.
Got it.
Yeah, is small. But that's why I'm trying to keep it as minimal as possible. I agree. I'm sorry, I don't say your last name. Yeah, I want to butcher it though. Garabedian?
Garabedian.
Okay. We're trying to keep it as minimal. We love the lake. I'm a science teacher. I was an environmental science major. Like I'm a restoration background in forestry, but like I don't want to do it. I would never do anything that I would have any possibility I think would harm our ecosystem. But I respect that you're a hydrologist. If you feel we need to talk about it more, I would love a hydrologist on my team helping figure this out. I feel like there's not enough people talking about the severity of this.
Well, okay, that I think is an absolutely positive thing is that, you brought the issue up. Clearly it's a problem, serious problem, particularly if you had fish kills.
Yeah, I mean, we seemed to, my side, I thought it was really bad. We went and did a survey around the lake, and it seems like there's definitely fewer nests this year. We saw a lot of dead fish, but it seems like on the other side, there's a little more resilience in another part of the lake. It seems like they're doing okay, but the otters are gone. Like the mammals have moved on. Except the beavers are back, of course. They came back.
All right, I'm gonna be candid here.
Yeah.
Okay, the problem is you have too much phosphorus in that lake.
Yeah. Oh,
Period.
absolutely.
End of discussion.
Yep. Do you have $100,000 to do anything?
And I'm sorry.
Do it, but would we have $100,000 to do something about that with right now?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, step by step here, okay? And the issue is phosphorus, okay?
100%.
And if you still have sources of phosphorus going into that lake, I don't care what you do, you're stuck in this cycle, okay? So, where do you have sources of phosphorus?
That's what we're trying to figure out. So what I on that side, I'm trying to do the Lakes Committee, I'm going to Lakes Committee tomorrow to talk about is trying to get going on the 604B and to try to get some funding to try to investigate.
And
because we right now in the Lakes Committee
identify
has-
the sources of the phosphorus.
Yeah, but that's, as you probably know, that's a very expensive proposition to find where these could be coming. So I think we're trying to do parallel paths. What we try to do, we can do to minimize the effects of the bad phosphorus by trying to this bacteriostat and just hopefully eliminating that cyanobacteria while doing the long, like you said, the long slow path of investigation that is far beyond my little Hawk surface waters test kit from James Short Middle School to do. But that they haven't even released what their next window for grant applications are due. So they're going to do something. But yeah, I also am skeptical, Mr. Garabedian. I don't
Skeptical of what?
that it will work. I don't think it'll damage anything, but I'm skeptical that it will work because the lake is deep, because of the levels of phosphorus, which are astronomically high.
Skeptical about whether the barley grass will work?
I'm a skeptic. Scientists are skeptics, right? I mean, I would be very excited.
Yes, scientists.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who says that they're putting barley grass in a lake, bona fide to fix the problem is not a scientist or they're.
But I gotta say that the approach, which I've never heard of this
Yeah.
approach as a limnologist by training. never heard of this approach. So it's intriguing.
Yeah.
And it's heartening to see that you're not trying to just treat it with a bunch of copper.
Yeah.
So, kudos to you all for thinking outside the box on that one. I'd be really curious to learn more about.
Yeah, so I have a couple, I have like just, the one, just the Penn State extension, like description of it. The other one is more, this is like the only like free available. I unfortunately, the English Institute does not give me access to scholarly journals. But this is the best one I found. And you're definitely welcome to take those and look at them and kind of go through it. But yeah, just, doing what I can to try to figure it out. But I'm so excited that you guys are all fired up about this. I appreciate that.
Can you email it?
Yeah, I can email all the links of that but Mr. Knight, you look like you're thinking about something.
No, I'm just, thank you.
Okay.
Is it something to do with it?
But I think the thing with what Mr. Knight's talking about, that wood down there, that's decomposing, that's using up all that oxygen. And then
90 years been this.
It's been there 88 years.
But then it's like a four source too, yeah.
I'm not, against the skeptic in me.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced it's the wood.
Yeah, a real.
No, I'm not sure it's the wood. The logs have been there for 87, 88 years.
Exactly. So.
How it suddenly go that far.
Right. And it could very, what I'm hearing is, it makes a lot of sense that low inflow, you end up having a problem, you don't get the flushing effects, you don't have the outflow of the phosphorus or the organic material, period, the nitrogen, carbon, and phosphorus. So you end up having this accumulation in the leaf litter that's in the bottom of the lake.
Yes, yeah, we definitely get a lot of that. I mean, that's part of it, we're doomed by our own natural
Right.
buffer in some ways there.
Right. So you have, I'm really curious to know, so you're after some funding, is it, to get some resources to do some more phosphorus monitoring?
Yeah, I mean, a deep water phosphorus test, not even getting the sediment is looking like a couple $1,000s. And then the sediment testing, they said probably looking around $10,000 to get sediment checked out. And then looking at springs and
So
other
you think
things.
some of it could be bound up in the sediments?
I mean,
What, the phosphorus?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's the
the
question.
phosphorus, I mean, I think so, yeah. I mean, that's getting released
Yeah.
when in the low oxygen area. I mean, yeah, I can send out, when I send out the studies, I'll send out like the basically guideline I'm using. I don't have the internet here, but I was using like this, basically just, this is the Massachusetts State or another kind of guideline. So this is again different for me. I mean, my idea of algae bloom is someone dumping a bunch of phosphate in the yard or using a phosphate cleaner and just having it pour into the lake.
Yep.
So this is last year was the first time it happened in over 30 years.
Yeah. And yeah, so at least, so yeah, it's alarming, I think. And the fact that and then it lasted for almost 6 months.
You don't have a lot of sand and gravel. You don't have a lot of recharge area above that in sand and gravel.
Yeah.
You've got a watershed divide right there. It goes to Lawrence Swamp.
Yeah.
Surface and probably groundwater. And there is a border fault underneath.
Right.
The border fault has really screwed up a lot of people's wells.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the map, the rock maps, it's just like all converges in that one area.
Iron and other things. I don't know about the phosphates, but whether the irons and the phosphate. But last year drought, drastic high temperatures, seasonal high temperatures, but we've been rising ever since. But not to have it the year before.
When it was also drought, it was like 2 years before that. Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to do a little bit more reading on it.
Well, I was prepared to be shuffled off stage in 1 or 2 minutes with no discussion, so.
You almost made it to 45.
It's almost the length of a full middle school classroom at this point.
You've got a full attention span.
Yeah, it's true, no one's throwing things. Appreciate that.
How long have you been studying the lake?
I mean, honestly, I was so ignorant for so long when the first read it. In the last 5 years, so I would be more concerned about it. Yeah. Before that, I was like, oh, it's beautiful.
David, no. I guess, from my perspective, again, this is just, I'm expressing an opinion here.
Oh, yeah.
all right? That's all I'm going to express.
I'm gonna hear it.
Is an environmental problem like this, okay, requires an organized, disciplined group to face the problem and begin to systematically deal with the issues at hand and the way to go about solving those issues. And I don't object necessarily to a particular approach, but I think that, what's the right term here, where this is, by your own admission, you don't know whether it's going to work. And given the time that you've got right now, which from what I understand is late anyway, you may have an algal bloom this year, okay, and that it's going to show up fairly soon, okay, because we are beyond runoff, the major runoff season, we're into the summer season already. Trees are already drawing the water table down and so on and so forth. Look, again, this is my opinion. Get you and your neighbors organized. It should be the Holland Water Quality, concern group or something along that line, okay? And then actively look for ways to obtain, studies, okay? And actively, what's the right word here for agitate? Work towards, direct solutions that will keep additional phosphorus from coming into your lake. That's your problem. You keep more and more phosphorus is entering this lake.
Yeah, I mean,
It's being, the old quote is you're loving it to death. Okay. How many houses are there around Lake Holland? How many other sources of, phosphorus are in the watershed that are contributing into that lake? Now, your interest in doing this particular solution, I get it. All right. But again, it's kind of like, and I'm gonna sound a little, it's a pea hole in the snow. It's tiny. Okay. So, if you're going to do something, be serious about it.
Well, and that's what, yeah, I mean, I think that I only want to say before I'm going to miss you interject, is just like, but since my hope is that I agree it's a pea hole in the snow, but I'm hoping that because it's our first time having it cross that threshold in bloom last year, if we can have one little thing that makes it a little harder for the algae to bloom this year, maybe that would just stop it, while we do the testing and arrange that. But sorry, I'll let Missy jump in. But,
No. You've got the.
Just a minute.
You're exactly right, that this treatment, which has been used in East Hampton and in other places nearby, if you kept tabs on the state's list of lakes that had been posted for cyanobacteria last year, was at its highest total. It just continued adding through the whole summer, more than 30. Very few got taken off. Most of them were, as you say, more populous areas, anthropomorphic reasons that this is happening. And our lake, if you haven't been to Holland, there are very few houses. Because the road can't be upgraded, there is no continued construction. Nearly everyone, let me start. I'm a research librarian, and I've been working with a geology professor at Amherst, and we've been put in touch with the state knowledgeologists and geologists at UMass. We've been trying to organize around this since 2016, when the first milfoil treatment came out. I did a full lit review. We talked to the Solitude Lake Management. We had a group of neighbors in my house. We showed up to the meeting. I have an entire zooterra library of peer-reviewed studies. We have been to Tri-Lakes meetings. They all approved of this, and they said, that's great. Metacom and Arcadia, where most of our members are, we don't have this problem, but it's great that you and Holland want to do this. We are really trying to actively organize. We have a Google
we have files, we've been sharing this information. I had, as I said, a whole class of first-year students working on cyanobacteria solutions and specifically what they look like in terms of research in Massachusetts last fall. The problem is that we can't seem to get anyone in the town to care. There are very few houses. So all of the things that are initially listed as the most important things to do, limit pet waste. All of us had to keep our dogs out of the water. We all clean up very carefully after all of our dogs. We have landscape and natural and native plants at the water line. Everyone is on town sewer. We're doing everything possible to get away from those usual things. This solution that East Hampton has done over the last 4 or 5 years seems to have no downside. The limnologists in the UK show that there is no damage to organisms, fish, to plants. This seems like a why not try it? And we will continue to organize, we'll continue to try to get more testing, but we couldn't even get signs posted last summer when there was cyanobacteria with toxins. We could smell it, we could feel it. No one could go anywhere near the lake. This is a daily quality of life and public health issue for us, and we can't seem to get anyone to care about it. So this seems to be our first step in. We're all going to the Tri-Lakes meetings. We're starting to go to the Lakes Committee meetings. We just don't know how to get people from the town side because it's the state that manages the lakes. How do we get started in a way that we can actually address this problem now when we're seeing people with rashes, where we're not able to swim? Those of us on the lake are in the lake every single day. We're very attuned to our microenvironment. We want help. We want to do everything we can. We're ready to organize to try something like this that seems innocuous. I mean, I know that there's no way to tell, but the research in the UK goes back to the early 2000s, and I can give you more peer-reviewed studies. That's literally what I do all day.
She can get them.
And we have people to consult with in East Hampton and nearby, and limnologists to bring in wherever possible. This seems like one of those things where, if anything, we prefer not to have spot treatments or with sonar and working on the herbicides there. We would rather work on something like this that actually addresses the organic causes. And to be able to marshal all the knowledge that you all have about our activities. Thank you for letting me go. It's been a really frustrating couple of years, and actually back to 2016.
I was very hopeful when they finally sewered the lakes. And I was hoping for a big change in all the water quality. And it hasn't happened. I mean, we're still doing chemical treatments all the time. And the cyanobacteria did show up at the down beach 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't know if it's.
Metacomment too.
Yeah.
Metacomment also tested for cyanobacteria.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not, it's.
Yeah, but that, I think that
It could be coming,
it can resolve itself quickly there because there's oxygen, because it penetrates. So that
because it isn't as deep.
isn't as deep. So there's,
8 feet average, 10 feet average for
It
PDA.
was a bigger jump, I think so.
but I think there's probably a lot more, my guess is more runoff in there. And the surface levels of phosphorus are higher on the other lakes than they are. Because they have more houses and they have like beaches and manicured sides. Yeah, so I just, as you're reading, I'm just like, I want to say, we're not, this is not like we're not believing that this is the final solution. We want to fix the lake, but I think that I think we're looking at a 5 to 6 year plan of fundraising and figuring this out. I mean, if the treatment for like high phosphorus, I mean, you probably know better than me, but it seems like it's alum or it's aeration. Those are both $100,000.
Anybody experimented doing a limited treatment of this in just one area? Does it have to be?
Well, it's because I think it works by the mechanism of the algae have to come to the surface to photosynthesize during the day. So it's spread, it has to be spread along the surface. So it needs to be in, you can't put it on the shore. It has to be in the middle. It has to mix around. That's it, because it limits their ability to reproduce in the daylight and the sun and surface.
But you said it had to be in shallow areas.
It has to be shallow but exposed. So it has to be exposed to get wind movement, to get fresh water, oxygen, and to spread the like low levels of peroxide and undisclosed. I don't know if you found out what other specific chemicals are.
So they want to run an experiment. Have you gotten, so you said this has been done where else? East Hampton?
East Hampton, West Hampton, UK.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, let's talk about East Hampton.
Yeah.
Did East Hampton need a permit in order to be able to do that?
They didn't try to get a permit because they did what actually, they went on they had like a watercress removal permit, and they just added this to their watercress removal permit. So
When you
they
say
did like
they-
a noxious species. They did like a noxious species removal permit, and they kind of grandfathered in because there's no precedent. As like, which is why I understand your hesitation, because there's no precedent. There's not like, even apply for a permit. I mean, what hydrologists or engineers are like, oh yes, I have a lot of experience with this new treatment. There's the only way the experience we're going off of is East Hampton.
I've got a rookie question here for Julie. In terms of the nexus to the Wetland Protection Act, I'm wondering if you can clarify what that connection is. Like, why is a permit needed for this activity?
Well, that's the question I think Dan's asking you all. Do you think that this rises to the level of comfort that you don't think it triggers the need to have a permit through the Wetlands Protection Act and the Wetlands Bylaw because you're not worried about water quality? I mean, clearly the area itself is obviously jurisdictional. That's probably clear, but is the work itself so benign that you don't feel like it is going to create an adverse impact? And that does seem like a science question.
Some people could make the argument about running sonar and Pelham.
Those had permits, right?
Those had full NOIs.
They all had full-
And there may or may not be an active, I tried to find an active lakes permit, but I
think it's
couldn't,
been continued
but-
since 69.
but has it been extended enough that it's still active or has it expired? Because
No, it's still active.
But I think we looked at it. It
With
specifically
all the
mentions-
COVID, with all the COVID extensions.
It specifically mentions just specific species. It doesn't mention.
well, I'm just wondering,
Yeah, no, it doesn't cover that.
does it suggest that similar to East Hampton where they came in with an amendment or a minor plan change and got it under the permit?
They didn't even amend it. They just used the same verb.
They didn't, they just did it. That's what they did. And, you know, how would you feel if somebody just started dumping their grass clippings into the lake? How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think.
How would you
Yeah,
feel?
I'm thinking about.
It's in the same class.
No, but I'm thinking about
Okay.
like right now, when we excavate or do anything on the lake, what we do, we put straw bales that let us stay there for 8 to 10 months decomposing and.
Yeah, but that's on the terrestrial. That's on the land side.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about actually putting it in the water.
Yeah.
And you've already said that it's going to rot, that it's going to create more organic debris in the water.
That's why we're keeping this.
So I think that before we go anywhere with this requires a call. I can't.
Love for you to call DEP.
No.
Actually, just get
The ball's not in our court.
Yeah.
Okay? Ball's in your court. Okay? You can, if you can ask for some help from Julie, maybe you'll get some help from Julie. I don't know.
Oh,
Okay? But the ball's going to be in your court because from my perspective, sitting here, okay, on the commission, as a town official, can I go ahead? No, I can't do that. If you pose this as a scientific experiment, I think that maybe DEP may be able to cut you, some, I'm gonna say some, there may be some allowance here, okay, to allow you to do this.
So can I suggest,
Go right ahead.
I'm happy to reach out to the circuit rider, Mark, and ask him if there's a precedent in the western region, see if there's any kind of,
Yeah.
seeing
tell-
permits come through,
Yeah.
doesn't happen, and maybe I can share that. information.
Yeah.
No, I just,
And
I just feel like me talking to DEP, then I'm gonna care about some random guy calling.
No. They're very good about this. I mean, if you've got a serious water quality issue in the pond that you're living in, okay, of course they're going to have a concern. They're also very, very busy people, okay? Like anybody else, there's, 1,000, forest fires that they're trying to put out. But, yeah, I think that if you pose this as, we want to try an experiment here, we don't know what will happen, we have a serious problem, you're probably going to hear the same thing from them that you just heard from me. Please, if you're on this lake, then, start looking at where your sources of phosphorus are.
But I do want to assure you, like, that is one thing we do. Like, there's one person in our lake who does fertilize, and we know, we've spoken to him, we've called the company. They've guaranteed it's not phosphorus fertilizer, but we still discourage its use. But I think we'd agree that phosphorus is one ingredient.
It's, you know, the people right on the lake, yeah, sure. But you've got people in that watershed. It's not a real big one?
No, I mean, it's just along Federal, few houses right around it.
Yeah, but how about Route 9?
But
Yeah,
Route 9 doesn't have
that
a lot-
gets into it.
I think
It's got the road run on it.
I encourage you to look at it, but I think Rhode Island mostly goes into Arcadia and mostly goes into Hop Brook, which goes skirts on the other side of the road line. Yeah, so
So what are the outflow elevations?
the outflow elevations.
Yeah, so what's the outflow elevation at Arcadia? and What's the outflow elevation at Holland? Where's the divide?
I don't know that number, I just know.
So if the outflow elevation at Holland is lower than Arcadia, you're actually gonna have water flowing from Arcadia into
Yeah,
Holland and out.
yeah, I think
So-
you can mostly see it flowing with the outlet, and see it flowing into Arcadia more than flowing into Holland, yeah.
Culvert.
Yeah.
Is that?
The
what's
culvert-
Status of that culvert?
So it's on and off blocked by beavers.
Between Holland and Arcadia?
Yeah, and, I mean, it used to be,
Last year it
I
wasn't,
could,
but
I mean, it's a massive culvert.
yeah.
But it's good, recently it's had a lot of vegetation in the channel, blocking it up, and then the beavers blocking it up. I mean, to open, make sure that is open, which I think we've given permits for that before.
DPW's done it.
Yeah, and I will say right now, it's better than it usually is. The flow is better than usual.
I'm just thinking if we,
Yeah.
get a better flow through there,
But yeah, the beavers are any indication, the flow is from Holland to that, because they usually dam, you can see they put the dam, the water's higher on the Holland side than the Arcadia side. So that would tell me that the outflow elevation of Holland is higher than Arcadia.
I mean, I think we need to move on here.
Yeah.
We got a lot more on our agenda here. Yeah, but,
I agree.
and I think, I applaud you people, you've come to the Conservation Commission, you've outlined what your problem is. You've said, gee, we'd like to try a solution. Great. But from my perspective, before we give you a permit, let's hear from DEP and what their call is on, basically a scientific experiment.
And I just leave you, I will say, I think we're going, in terms of the grass clipping comment you made, I think we're thinking about the smallest amount that, compared to the millions of leaves that go into the lake, I'm looking for a small contribution, I think, is my hope. Just some data to put your at ease.
It's been extremely successful in East Hampton with.
Yeah,
very
yeah, I'd love for you to look at the data we can send out.
We've also put notice out to, we have about 18 houses on the list now, of about maybe 22 around. So people are aware. All I got back was people being very excited that there was any kind of.
And in terms of experiment, like that, I would consider East Hampton an experiment, and so far the experiment has been highly successful.
If I can make one other suggestion.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
And then we're
And I've
going to
got
move
one
on.
too.
You should get a letter from the Tri-Lakes Association. If they support this,
Yeah.
I'd like to see it in writing.
Great.
Okay?
And the Lakes Committee as well? Would you like the Lakes Committee as well, or the
I'm
Lakes,
sorry.
would you like the Lakes Committee as well? Because we have also spoken with them. The Lakes Committee, the Town Lakes Committee?
Absolutely.
Great.
The more support you have
Yeah.
in writing, the
In
better
writing.
off you're going to be.
Okay, right, I get that. Yeah, we've already verbally agreed.
Regarding East Hampton.
Yeah.
I would imagine that it is being monitored in some way.
Yes, they've actually got a grant for actual monitoring. They have active monitoring of the algae levels now. So
They actually have a grant.
who did we get the grant from?
That's a good question, I should ask.
So
But they have a bigger lake.
That would be real, I think could be very informative for our committee here, commission here. See what was put into that grant, what the justification was. I'm sure it had some science and background in it. And it would be also nice to know, hey, do they have somebody that's doing some ongoing monitoring that could also serve as a reference for?
That's Dr. Ryan. That's when we spoke. That's the person we spoke to kind of coming up with this idea.
Yeah. So I think that would be also great to provide advance. So,
Sure.
but I go back to what I said before. And obviously, there's a diversity of opinions on the commission today. That's fine. That's good. It leads to better management, I think. But I think it's great to be thinking outside the box, outside of chemical treatments to do this type of work that you want to get done. So I applaud you all for that.
Yeah, well, and I would say, like, the first time I heard this, when someone said, oh, we should put barley grass in here, I was like,
What is?
keep the hippies away from me. This doesn't make any sense. This is ridiculous. But I guess reading enough studies has swayed me.
There's been a couple of things tried in there. There was a guy that was putting mats down.
Yeah, for the weeds, yeah.
Mats.
Yeah. It was just to keep the weeds from growing up.
Yeah.
It was trying to keep the sonar out.
Yeah.
And I mean, there've been a number of
I
things.
mean, the weeds have never been as much of a problem as this has been. I mean, the weeds have never had as much of an ecological impact.
Oh,
So,
they don't grow up when you're that deep, it doesn't come up yet.
yeah, we can still go near. We don't get hay fever symptoms from breathing in that. Yeah, I think one of the things I've read, like I said, even like being exposed to it can like contribute to possible ALS, increased risks and stuff like that. And I have 4 kids at home, so like that kind of stuff worries me. So, yeah, I don't have money to move, as you guys know, these days how real estate prices are. So, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. It's nice to meet you all.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So no motion like a withdrawal,
Well,
recognizing that.
leave it open.
Thanks for.
It was really open when they sewered all those things there. Look, me.
You didn't have any comments on that, did you? Okay, just checking. What are you here for? 109? Oh, you're Allen Road, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're next up in line. So, next up, we have request for determination of applicability for 366 Allen for Daniel Walker septic system replacement. So are you representing yourselves?
Yeah.
Come on up. We don't wait. So hopefully, yeah, do you have a plan or anything to show us?
I can pull it. Sure.
Yeah, you probably just take a seat over there.
Pass the
Yeah,
plan
I
down.
saw the plan, but there's no indication of where the wetlands are on the plan.
So there is, isn't there a 100-foot line somewhere now? I'll pass this on. We were able to determine that somehow. in
So
the
we're
office.
up on top of, we're probably up across from the water tank.
Yeah.
So. Is that 366? Is that a home formerly owned by Plants?
No.
No,
No. Maybe.
no
Maybe.
major.
Oh, it's a meter?
Yeah, I had a garage door.
Went through all this about what, 10 years ago.
So the I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. This is in by Capon Street. No, this is back closer to Daniel Chase.
Maybe it's because
Did you go to this site?
I did.
Are there any wetlands nearby?
So that right there, somehow we were able to, in the office prior to the site visit, determine that this location was within 100 feet of a wetland. But you're right, it's not on the, but maybe was there an old plan filed or something that we were able to refer to? Or another
There
prior
was-
permit? I think that's,
It's done. This was good for Septic was in the front yard.
I think you had filed, or maybe a prior owner.
This is
With the
on
conservation
the,
commission.
I had a environmental consultant who dropped them out. Who?
It was from town.
Alan Weiss?
Neil, White, yeah, White's,
Neil
Yeah.
Jackson?
White's, yeah.
So the Board of Health gave us their septic plan, and then we sent a comment letter to you all on May 8th saying this work occurs within 100 feet of a wetland resource area. We may have had to reference some other plan to figure that out. But it is within 100 feet of that koi pond, and that has a hydrologic
Man-made.
Yeah, it has a hydrologic connection to the BBW, to the wetland, sorry. The bordering vegetated wetland to
The wetlands on the other side of the
The
garage,
fire
so
garage.
where they want to put the leach field
Yep.
is.
At the very far end of the
far end
other
of the
field.
field.
Yep. So, so I guess the question is to determine whether or not you feel that it is within jurisdiction. And if you do, and or if the activity requires a notice of intent. The work itself is limited to a very
I know
little
what
bit
this
of
is.
trenching.
I know what this. Okay, where your barn is,
Yeah,
is there like a ditch right in the back of that?
on the backside of the unit. Where's the barn?
There's a ditch that goes down to a drain pipe back here.
Yeah. pretty much.
2007 and 2008, you had a bylaw only order of conditions. And then in 2008, you had another filing that did require a order of conditions from the state as well. That's, I think we must have referenced this plan. I should have brought this.
This. Downhill.
Yeah, it's very far from the actual.
Oh, you've got it. You don't have to sound like it. Where the water flows, it goes this way. We're out in the field just high.
Yeah, I think you're in jurisdiction. This is just my,
I think
the
they're
staff
outside-
office review.
I think they're outside the jurisdiction.
The trenching. Oh, outside the BBW jurisdiction?
Well, this wetland that's over here,
Yes. They're farther.
that's 100 feet.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
showing you that was really just a ditch right along, basically a wet ditch right along. Right along the property line there. And I don't think there was anything that went that way.
No, but there's a pipe that connects to the koi pond.
Oh, that's a.
That wasn't there before. But we made that,
Made what?
that pond.
Is there a liner on it? Line?
Put a liner
And how do you put water in it?
when it dries out, we have a well in the basement.
They do it?
The water comes from the hill in the back and it drains down and then it runs through the pipe. It only runs one way into the pond.
There's no outlet to that pond?
There's
There
There's no drainage, like piping or anything. If it overflows, it goes down the hill and along, where Mr. Martin just put in the road, I think.
Yeah, that whole major rivers controversy, which it wasn't. But I didn't remember the pond.
What's that?
The soil is, I mean, the grade is flat, it's grass. The pipe will pass over 25 feet away from the wetland. Well, if we're calling that a wetland, I don't know if you guys are considering the koi pond jurisdictional or not.
If it's a lined landscape pond, if it isn't directly attached to the, connected to the ground,
It is connected to the
it is connected to a BBW.
yes, right? That's the pipe that goes to the wetland behind the garage, underground.
Well, from, I guess, the wet.
wetland from the
Right over here.
Yes. That's partly how water goes back and forth, right?
It doesn't go back and forth.
It goes one way. It's draining the BBW,
Hmm.
but only enough that fills up the koi pond, and then you still pump water from your basement to
Yeah.
help the.
That dries out, that wetland in the back that goes through the pipe, that drains out, that dries out when we have. terrible
We got
weather.
more runoff on the road
It's the
than
runoff.
that than anything else.
It's the runoff from the hill up back.
So runoff comes into that swale wetland system
Yeah.
from the street, but it is a wetland. I mean, it's been delineated, right? There's skunk
Yeah, we
cabbage.
do, yeah, yeah. And we have a buffer zone between the garage and
That we have to dig in.
Leanne helped you decide, helped you when you filed for your garage,
Break on that hill is-
where to
If
put
that's on the
everything.
Yeah.
right side of it, I think it's on the Danish, it could be either way.
We're further down from the water.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. And I'm just trying to think.
There's a
It's pretty much of the conservation surrounds us anyways.
When did you build the pond? Just built it?
That's pretty. Over 20 years
Prior to the wetland.
ago. We were pulling so much crap out of that piece of property when we first got it.
Cars.
That's what.
Engines, cars,
Tractors,
tires.
bushes. Antiques, dishes,
Because it's.
kind of like the area
Yes,
where
that's-
everybody.
that right there.
everything.
There's the water tank, so. Right in there.
I don't think that's jurisdiction.
There's any water in it. And then the swale that was down there, and that goes under Martin's driveway.
Right.
That was the whole controversy about whether that was, there wasn't a permitted swale.
Right.
Definitely wasn't.
Or we would prefer them to put the septic system back where it's at, but, you know, due to variances and stuff, they got turned down 3 times by the Board of Health. So they decided to work out that. Once it's clear, so.
So Neil Jackson did the plan.
That water garden is supposed to be the pond.
Yeah.
I think so.
I would like to take a look at it.
You know, they've been going on for almost a year now, trying to get that system in place. It's really taking a toll.
I understand.
Just a clarification, and I'm sorry if I missed this. Is this replacing the septic system in place of where the existing system is?
The tank is gonna go back where the leach field is in the front there. So what he wants to do is just pump it all the way out to the back field.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Are we, on the commission, are we all done with our questions and concerns?
So I'd like to take a look at it.
I understand. I think we got somebody on the line here that would like to ask a question.
I am good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, caller, I hear you probably want to say something online, so you have a question. No, they're not muted, not on our end.
I think I can speak to about the caller online. He's representing the next agenda item.
Oh, okay. It sounded like they wanted to comment or ask on this one.
I don't think so. He's the builder associated with the next item.
Okay. All right then.
Excuse me, unless it's someone else, and I just know that my builder got disconnected and was going to call in. So I'm hoping I'm not saying that inappropriately and it's somebody else. Pretty
Well,
sure.
whoever it is isn't trying to, I'm not hearing anything now, so.
Okay.
What's the closest point? I know the pipe goes across the pipe. What's the closest point of the system to the edge of that water feature?
Trench, how close is the trench?
Yes.
The water feature is the square.
Neil normally puts more information on his plan.
It looked like it was more than 25 feet. You were just like saying it. But yeah, there's nothing there.
Looks like the system, well, according to his water delineation, it looks like it's 50 feet. And if that pond has a liner in it, it's not really up. But if it's got an inlet, it meets Title V. So the Board of Health is giving you trying to put it back in the front yard.
You want it in the front end.
That's where it was to begin with.
And it didn't work.
It would work.
It hurt.
Just worked, he just didn't like the variations on the, he said it was either too close to the house or too close to the road. But I turned what difference is in that, it's been there for 40 years, right?
The town put it in.
If you have an alternative that does meet all these things.
Yeah, yeah. He saw the back. He wanted to park way out there, so he had park out there.
So it's just a matter of going back farther and putting in
Wrong pipe, that's what he's doing.
You don't
Running it out,
a.
don't have to pump, you have to run it the other.
No,
You got just enough angle on it, not have to pump it. $7,000 saving.
Side of 50, each Title V. Board of Health allowed it. Side of 100, it's their requirement that requires 100. For repairs, you do allow, they do have allowed inside of 100 down to 50 and below. Looks like it's the only spot that they could put. And if it's less than, it's outside of 50 and less than 2,500 square feet, an RDA is appropriate. Except for the pipe going across that temporary trench.
Is it less than 2,500?
40 by 16.
40 by 16.
Let's do the 600 square feet.
40 by 60.
660.
640. So it's less than, and what's our,
Our criteria is 2,500 square feet. But outside, all outside of 50, this trench going through here is inside of the 50. 20 feet plus the edge of the water guard. If that's lined, you let me know if you're gonna go over or under that.
I have no idea. yet.
that would be up to the installer, and the installer doesn't want to do anything until he's got an answer from
He's got a couple of hoops to jump through anyway, because we get utilities going in the ground too.
the front.
You don't know what elevation, you don't know where it is until you dig it up.
what's your concern about? What are you concerned about?
Well, the pipe, there's a pipe that goes like this to the wet. There's a wetland over here, there's a pipe coming out of it, there's a pipe coming in. God, before you put a lot of pipe. I don't really.
Is it just
How long
one?
have you been there?
20 plus years.
One 5.2.
I mean, you know,
Yeah, there may just be temporary disturbance if we have to pull that pipe off. Potential for sediment to then drop in and end up in the well. So that could
If it's in there, it's going to be in there.
right. Potentially, they'll manage theirs.
I would assume he's gonna go over the top, but I think the pipe's at least 5 feet down.
It does look low, like there's a little like almost like a little mini culvert, like that outlets into this.
That comes
pond.
out from the house up to the water.
That's not that's not, what I saw is not the pipe that goes to the well.
There's an 18-inch
Yeah,
EDS.
somebody saw them when it pumped out of the house.
Oh, okay.
That's a combination of one off from the roof, the gutters
Yeah.
to the pond, and also the well pump goes through that.
We have no water now.
Yeah.
Well,
Hoy Rain Garden.
Wait, you've got a well?
Yeah.
You're not on town water?
no, we're on town water, but it's a Quabbin house, and when they put it in, there's a little stone well in our cellar that's capped. So, yeah, so what you saw is like the pipe that goes. in.
So that's mostly
So is
what's
that
feeding
within
your koi
100?
pond.
Yeah, once the sump pump goes off, it pushes it through there.
But there is a pipe that connects to the well.
water.
Also, that is smaller.
Yeah, I want you out here, I'll show you where the.
Is that within 100 of?
No, no,
This way.
Okay, so it's not.
No, no. What I'm asking is, what's not shown on the plan, sorry.
You know, I don't have a real big problem with this. It's all existing law. I would put conditions on to put a silt fence up between the pond and the trench going in. And, you know, just run a silt fence around it. That's what I would recommend.
To protect the water feature.
Well, if they're asking for an RDA, right? And what they really want is for us to say, to say they don't need to do it, and then why. Is that correct? Right. But can we condition an
Yeah.
RDA?
Yes, we can condition.
Okay.
And that's, in fact, in the case of septic repairs, we get just as high a level of protection for us through the RDA process, through our conditions as goes through an NOI.
So
Well, that's what I would
what's the
recommend.
enforcement mechanism there? So we're not gonna go check it, we're not gonna inspect.
The Board of Health says.
So that condition would be then that would be communicated to the Board of Health.
We put a condition on, it says. that they have to-
Pre-construction inspection.
Yeah.
But it's performed by me or,
Yes. It would involve you driving out there. They can basically put up all their siltation barriers. And then when they're ready, they call you, you come look at it, say good to go, and then they go and start working on the repair.
And when you're done, they call you again.
so just to play devil's advocate then, does this then almost imply it's a notice of intent kind of level because it has conditions?
It's just eliminating
tricky.
another step.
We're hoping to give them the easy like path, but we will then be obliged to make sure that we're going out there and inspecting as if it was an order of conditions, as if it was a wetland permit.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
you wouldn't be recording
Exactly.
it, there's no recording, there's nothing like
No.
DEP filings.
Nope. Yep.
Okay, well,
We're going to say, well, it's an area within jurisdiction. It will not alter if you follow these conditions.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a, it would, what we're going to get out of it is the same thing we're getting out of it. We get out of it without.
it's a minor exempt activity because it's temporary within, it's small, it's within,
It's within the lawn, it's within, we're not,
so.
We're not
thinking about
creating
what boxes
new-
we would be checking.
yeah.
In jurisdiction, however, so minor that it's not going to require that box.
That's good.
It's a good box, 3 and 6.
I mean, we're not going to get it any farther from
I
there.
think it's fine. I didn't worry about the setback, except that when you brought up the fact that we'd be potentially popping that pipe up, that did make me worry a little bit. Like if the koi pond got silted up, that's one thing, but if it ends up coming back into the well, and that's a little bit of a higher level issue. It sounds like it would not if we have this condition. Okay,
Okay. With all that having been said, does the commission have anything else? You're,
And we issue a negative as discussed with condition.
Second.
any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. You are in fact all set. She'll get the paperwork out in a few days, couple days, I don't know.
So we can maybe talk to our installer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait until you get your negative determination paperwork, and I'll be in touch with you by email about that.
Because there are going to be conditions, there are conditions associated.
You want silt barriers and stuff like that.
Yeah, keep the dirt out of it.
Well, he usually, yeah.
Great,
All right.
you bet. Good luck.
I'm
Thanks.
glad the septic system hadn't failed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like wetland lines. No, it's fine. It's time to learn.
Have a good night.
It's more of a.
Okay, no, that's fine. So, next up, you got a signature sheet for us in the meantime, and while we're working on that, I'll get started on the next one. Next up, we have a request for determination of applicability for 109 Channel Drive for septic and water line extension.
There we go.
I'm not gonna get any information.
We got-
Well, while the contractor is coming in, I'll introduce myself. My name's Jim Cohen, and I'm the recent purchaser of 109 Channel Drive. Ramsey Natour is the contractor that we have asked to work with us on putting in a small bathroom in the accessory unit with that property. But I will let him say what he needs to for you. Hopefully,
Yes, I'm here as well. Just working on getting my camera turned on, but I am listening in.
Do you need to have Ramsey summarize the project, or was it submitted in writing? I'm not sure what the process is here. I'm very new to the area.
Do you have any of those photographs that you can show? I will try to find some that were sent in the meanwhile.
I do have them via digital format, so I'm not sure the best way to show those.
I printed.
Allow him to share screen.
Oh, we have to let you. Okay, I did. I have some on my phone.
That-
Oh,
This is
there you
down
go.
on- This is down on home.
Oh, yeah.
I printed out a few of them, so I think we're okay, actually. Jim and Ramsey, we don't need to share screen.
Okay.
109. Former name was Conway. It's in the backside. I'm going to show it to you in a second. The highest is 111. So this is near the break well. Yep.
The ADU, the additional dwelling unit, it's already there, right? What's being proposed?
Ramsey, can you hear the question?
No, sorry, I did not hear that.
We were asking what is being proposed. Do you want to give a brief overview?
Yes. So currently there's an existing cottage on the property and an accessory dwelling unit. We are proposing to add a bathroom inside the existing footprint of the accessory dwelling. So we're looking for basically a determination on what's needed to have the plumbing from the existing cottage ran underground into the new accessory dwelling. And then from there, from the accessory dwelling, then routed out to the existing sewage pump that's on the property already.
So the ADU is already there,
Yes,
and you're just proposing to put a new water line in the trench, a new sewer line in the sewer,
correct.
and then the road is on the north, the water, that's the pond, right? And then on the other side of the house is the road,
Yes.
so it all work. How far is the ADU from the pond? There seems to be a dimension. Can't read.
Is it 55 feet to the pond from the ADU?
To the back side of the ADU. I'm sorry, 55 feet to this existing sewer pump. And the proposed trenching would start at about 50 feet.
You see another line of all work is outside of 50 feet from the water, and it's basically two trenches.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how deep the water is there? You're gonna have to do water to put those utilities in?
I'm sorry, I can't hear too well.
My question is, do you have any idea how deep the water table is, and are you going to have to de-water to put those trenches in?
It is a possibility. I believe the water table is pretty high there, but I do not know exactly.
I would say the water table is very high. Do you have any provision for what you're going to do with any water? Is there a basement under the house?
There's a full crawl space.
A 4-foot crawl space?
I would say just under 4 feet, maybe a 40-inch crawl space under the full footprint of the cottage.
The ADU or the house?
For the house. The ADU is a concrete slab on grade.
And so your trenches are going to be, and so it's a 4-foot cross wall, the crawl space. So is that the top of your foundation a foot high, higher than the ground or not? I'm trying to figure out how deep the water table is. You're saying we've got some separation. How deep are your trenches going to be?
Trenches are to be under the frost level, so hopefully 48 inches in depth. The current house doesn't have a frost wall. It's just on concrete piers.
But it's got a crawl space, 4-foot crawl space?
It's got an enclosed crawl space, which was just created with some under house skirting and spray foam, but there is no foundation wall.
Well, I would say you're going to have to do some, if you're trying to get down below the frost line. I would say you're going to have some provision for what you're gonna do with the water when you encounter it. That's, you're gonna have to pump it, you're gonna have to pump it to someplace, and I would say on the, between the house and the street. And dig a little basin out there and surround it by silt fence and pump it into that. It's gotta be far enough so it doesn't come back into your fence.
Okay.
Look at the space there.
It's nothing.
No, there's nothing there. He's gonna want to come across the road.
But you can't pump across the road.
They have to.
That goes up the hill.
Yeah, it does.
Seems like if you have a dewatering plan, does that kick it somewhere?
We need a dewatering plan. We need a dewatering plan. How are you gonna handle it?
We would just plan to use submersible pumps and try and manage the water so we can get down to our depths and place our plumbing immediately, and then plan to backfill.
Where are you gonna pump it to? That's what we want to know.
Yes, directly across from so Channel Drive kind of splits the property, and on the other side of the road, there's a large gravel pit used for parking, and we would plan to pump to that location.
That sounds like a dewatering plan to me. Can you put that in writing?
Yes.
Need something to contain the water.
Does it need a sketch? Does it need-
Yeah, put it in writing and provide us with a sketch.
Okay.
You been to the site?
I did. I didn't think about this.
Is there water across the street?
No.
No, it's all, as you said, it's up on the
It
hill,
goes up.
Yeah.
but any water they put over there is gonna wanna come right back
That's why-
down against the
Safety.
house and into the lake. So we gotta find a way to contain that water. And
Oh, that's yours? Yeah, so we
Well,
need,
isn't the basic question is whether we should ask them whether we require them to do an NOI here? Isn't that what an RDA is?
so so the work on the house, are they gonna have to do any excavation for the house, for the addition?
it's already there.
It's already there, but do they have to change the footings or anything?
No,
Piers?
no.
So the only excavation is going to be these trenches for the utilities.
That's correct. But it's within the 100 foot.
Right, it's outside of 50. Our bylaw does allow, our policy does allow 2,500 square feet of alteration outside of 50. And especially since.
And anything exceeding that would require an NOI.
Correct.
Right. And it looks like this is going to be less than 2,500 square feet.
Yeah, did you see the,
Correct.
Well, yeah, but we need this in writing, okay? This is, the sketches are kind of minimal. Really?
yeah, the whole thing
Yep.
is.
Yeah, it's pretty minimal.
But if the dewatering basin where they're pumping to is farther away, it's in a disturbed area that's already a driveway and a gravel driveway, and they can contain it over there, and it's on the other side of the house from the lake. Sounds like it's not gonna have any impact.
All right, do you want
Okay,
to?
so,
Go ahead.
so an RDA can be, you can say, yes, this is jurisdictional and you need to file a notice of it. If it was more than 2,500 square feet, it was inside of 50, yes, you need to file a notice of it. If it's outside minimal, you can also permit the work. You can allow, you say, yes, it is in an area of jurisdiction, buffer zone, but will not alter. And
How about silt fences? They're doing excavation.
well, silt fence, the silt fence, the excavation is two 10-foot long trenches on the other side of the house. Yes, the silt fence, I'd recommend a silt fence along between your property and the property to the right, right along where your trenches are going to prevent anything from going that way. And then a silt fence around your dewatering basin on the other side of the street.
Understood.
Understood?
Yes.
And you need to have that in writing to us before we issue before the determination is given to you, issued.
Okay. Could this be readdressed before the next meeting, or this would have to wait?
Well, I would let it go forward. Well, if we can go to the next meeting, that would be best. So we all have a chance to review everything that you're submitting.
That next meeting is June 22nd, so just a couple weeks from now.
Okay.
How did you measure these distances?
Using a tape measure it should be photographed in the photos submitted.
So,
Yeah, that's what that is.
so I didn't print out every photo, but you all should have gotten digital copies. And there's like all this like tape measurement, like play by play, like a few feet at a time, right? And you can kind of, if you ask Ramsey what it means, he'll tell you. He was walking along the tape to try to give you the sense of distance. So I think it's only available digitally.
Yes, the tape measure was hard to grasp in one photo, so I tried to kind of break it down in segments so you kind of have a better understanding of where the ADU starts in correlation to the water line, where the ADU ends, and also where the underground trenching would begin. Also in the photo, you will notice that the ADU kind of forms an L shape, which a majority of that L shape kind of goes in between the excavation site and the water line. So I believe that concrete foundation or slab there would help prevent a lot of water runoff in addition to the silk screening. It's not a clear path to the water.
Maybe you can sketch that out in your revised sketch.
Yeah.
That would help us visualize that better.
Sure.
Do you have anything better? Do you have any kind of a surveyed plan?
No survey.
If you just sold the property, you didn't need a plot plan? You just bought the property?
No, we did. There is a plot plan.
Yeah. That would be great. Put your sketch on a plot plan.
Okay.
It's also, he says in here that you say the trenching will be done by hand?
Yes. Shovel, no large equipment.
So I move that with your permission, we continue this till our next hearing when you provide the additional information we've asked.
Okay.
We have a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
This is continued to June 22nd.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good night.
All right.
Are there there's no more extra paperwork floating around for this that goes in the file?
Well, that's extra paperwork, but no, she's speaking specifically to this file.
This file?
Okay. Okay.
Cell phones?
So do you have,
Yes, we have more things.
while we're sitting here, you ready to distribute the bills?
Yes.
And then we will go on to
We have 3 bills, WB Mason, first bill for business card nameplate in beautiful rose gold.
Oh, neat.
And manila folders, yes. Trendy, on trend. And then we have mileage and a postal receipt.
$4.40 for postage?
So I misdid the mailing machine upstairs. I don't know anymore.
That happens. I do it.
Happened more than once, too.
I don't recognize if it is not scribbled.
Yeah. Wait till you see my print later in the afternoons. For the end of the week, it goes down.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm used to scribble.
Yeah. I can go nice and neat or scribble. What you got? Oh, yeah.
the mailman. I got it. Forgive me, but I can't help it. Huh? Well, it's
They-
postal transaction. Okay, well, that's going around. Next up, we have, where we got the minutes? We had
One set,
one set. Which set?
April 27th.
April 27th. Did anyone get a chance to look at that?
I did?
Did you find anything?
No. I learned a lot.
So I will ask.
Actually, I wasn't here, so I don't count.
So any additions, deletions, corrections?
I'm almost done reading. Hang on. Working through it.
Talk amongst yourselves. We could talk about the land grant approval Boyce property.
Well, while they're doing the minutes, we'll let that.
Yeah.
I'm good with minutes.
Probably within 7-8 minutes. We just gotta. As soon as everybody's satisfied.
Will's done.
Sound good.
No, you're done, but there's 3 other people that.
Yep. Sorry.
No.
I didn't know there was anybody else besides me.
Oh,
I just thought
okay.
everything was about me.
Gotcha.
You guys were here late that night.
Yeah.
Tell me
Good one to miss. Double header.
We used to go until midnight, 1 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, that was not
All the
unusual.
time, all the time.
We were doing 10, 12 filings a night.
Full notices.
Yeah, 10 or 12, yeah.
That's why I let a few things that I know we're not gonna get any more information,
Yeah.
very simply. I think. Usually bites me in the foot, but
We're ready to move on with the bills? Minutes?
If you make a motion,
Make a motion to pay the bills.
second.
any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Bills are paid, just start signing them and sending them back.
Or was that David or Steve the second?
I did. So almost always, the last person in line makes the motion to pay the bills.
It's a big responsibility.
It is actually, believe it or not.
So you was,
Yeah, I used to always sit there, so it was always up to me to make the motion to pay the bills. Well, that's how we know that everybody in the line has seen them and is okay with them.
Are we ready for another motion?
Are we all set with the minutes, everybody, or are we still reading?
almost, so. You said,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes
second.
Of April 27th,
of April 27th,
2026.
2026,
Thank you.
7 PM.
Do we have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes for April 27th are now approved and off the table.
One down, a large chunk. Hopefully I will speed up for you all for the next few.
Okay, so now we've got bills and minutes taken care of. Now we're up for, well, what's this land grant approval? Yeah, for Boyce, yeah.
So the planning director is working with the grants coordinator to help conserve the property owned by the Boyce family, which is off Old Farm Road and Old Bay Road.
Yeah.
It's across the street from the lake over there.
Oh.
It's the end of the Holyoke Rink.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and there's some pictures here if you want to see. It's a really nice connectivity opportunity.
Excellent.
Meets a lot of the Belchertown Open Space and Recreation Plan goals. So the request is to, from the grant application, is to have the Conservation Commission approve this and make a sign that you're approving the application for the grant from the EEA. So that is the letter drafted by Stephanie that you could take a look at and sign if you are in favor.
How much land is it?
I think it's like, I want to say 46 acres, am I right?
I think the yellow one, this is,
Is that the one that just was recently logged?
So I'm going to send down a
Is
second
that the one that was
plan.
recently logged?
There's
I don't
5
remember.
different, I think there's 5 parcels listed here.
Forester.
Yeah.
So who wrote this up?
That's
Oh, yeah.
So this looks like an area where the C5 towers go.
Could be. I'm gonna ask Gordon or Beth. I've been to their
So
house.
the landing gear on a C5.
I don't remember.
I think this is where it fell.
Where the tires fell off.
Yeah, well, half the landing gear fell off in the woods.
So it's on top of that hill then?
Yeah, this is up on top of that hill. Even if it's not exactly there, it's in the same general area.
Yeah, that was a property that was logged, or at least maybe.
And
part of
from
it.
the aerial that I'm looking, it does look like it was
He
locked.
probably did.
It does look substantially thin.
Yeah,
So does that represent a possible opportunity for the town to?
Well, if it's already been logged, that means it's going to be many, many years before we can, if they've already taken the resources.
They tried to
So who has done the assessment? That been done?
appraisal.
The appraisal?
Yeah, that's, I mean, yeah, the planning director is doing all of it.
You know, I hate it. This used to be all done in our house. And we would know all this information, and now we don't.
Well, if I was a little more acclimated, I probably could remember more from the meeting.
Yeah,
I did
no,
sit
no,
in on
I
a
know.
couple of them. So
No, I know that,
There's
but I
a lot.
mean, normally,
we're not taking the lead on
It
applying
doesn't
for
go
grant.
all the way up to the Bay
I understand, but remember, all these land acquisitions. This office, this got nothing to do because this office was doing all
So
the
which one is
negotiating, we
it?
had all the
This,
information, all the
slow
appraisals,
area,
everything was running through us.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Because ultimately,
That's
we
it.
would wind up buying property anyway.
This is that old loop that goes around, that's the old part of the road. And this is a cul-de-sac common drive in here. That's there's their property, but then they, all of this, these are all pork chop lots. But then Old Farm Road.
So there's an
over here,
endangered species,
Marbled salamander.
yeah.
I read it.
Oh, it says that? Cool.
I don't. So it doesn't go all the way over to Federal Street. I thought it did.
No, these are kind of isolated parcels, but I mean, what's the downside? Is there any downside? So why don't we just, can you do it?
Do we know the purchase cost?
Absolutely, maybe not.
I don't think it's been established yet, if it hasn't been appraised yet. We have to have an appraisal before they go in for the grant. This is just to go in for the grant.
Probably much of that.
Or is
has
this
been
a
done.
grant to get the appraisal?
It's a land grant. Are we familiar with that here more than I am? LAND, an acronym. Yeah. I'm still learning what
It's
that
to
is.
purchase the conservation, and then we have to do fundraising the rest.
Yeah.
The land will have to go to the CDC, and, or no, the C what?
Wait,
What
here's
are you
some
on,
notes.
David? What committee are you on? And then they'll have to go to town meeting, there'll probably have to be some
Yeah,
fundraising.
what is this for? Maximum grant award, $425,000. It must have a reimbursement rates 52 to 70% of total project cost. Grant deadline is July 9th. They submitted, or they will be submitting to the EEA grant management system, requires an appraisal. That has not
Well,
been-
I know it needs an appraisal. We can't
Sounds like
even
it hasn't-
acquire the property without it.
Do not purchase land without a signed contract from DCS. CF.
I just hope we aren't committing to something here.
But
It's like-
we're only applying for the grant, that'll be in there, and then we'll get into, get it, doesn't cost us anything to apply.
Yeah, it seems
No.
like the eligible project costs are cost of purchase, surveys, title searches. I don't know what they're doing.
46 acres.
I'm not sure about the 46 either, to be honest.
Yeah.
Unless you've read
Well,
that.
that would be easy to get off of SGIS.
Okay.
I move we endorse encourage the application grant. I mean, it's a start of the process. It's not the end of the process.
Yeah, and so Stephanie's helping make some GIS maps that are helping. So, it's collaborative with our office. Yeah, I filed the NHCSP request for their review.
Well, now you're looking at does this have any frontage?
Yes, well, I'm not sure if he selling those lots are included on Old Farm.
Well, we don't want to be buying a piece of landlocked.
No, I think it's on the road. I think they're,
It's got some up, yeah,
I-
it's got some off the common driveway.
Yeah, but County Drive is private, it's not public access. So hopefully this has got some frontage on some public
There
road.
is, Will's got the plan that has the front.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
Does it butt up against anything else?
Well, it's all tied into that corridor. It butts up against. Well, it's that common driveway and old farm. What's it called?
No,
It's got two frontage.
Piece out there all by itself.
Well, there is,
That it doesn't even remotely, I mean, at least all that stuff up on One South and Gulf Road kind of all lines up. This doesn't do any of that.
Old Farm Road here,
I think that's all the parcels included in that.
Yeah.
I'm not,
where's, so it's got frontage on these two. It is a targeted piece. They've been look, late.
it includes this light. Why are we getting this?
It's this piece over here. It's chapter 61.
Yeah, this is the road, right?
No, this is actually.
I think this is already concerned. I think they want to concern right around this.
61 is just for us.
It's like.
Yeah. And that connects over to here. Yep. And that's the, it's the whole.
So looking at this, I'm thinking whoever logged this piece actually did a timber trespass on here. What are you looking at? We almost don't have any access to this. We almost don't have any access to this.
What's the matter with taking it? It's a big piece. It's a good size.
So-
piece. It's a continuation.
I don't know, I mean, what's the point of that? And it looks like the abutting property logged it. I hope they're trying to give this to us for a really good deal.
We don't know how much. At this
Huh?
point. We don't know how much at this point.
No, we don't know any of this.
What's the decision we have to make tonight on this?
Whether we.
Whether to support the grant or not.
We have another meeting.
And it's a
we're gonna get
grant
more
application.
Grant application doesn't cost us anything. to
Well,
do.
that's supporting the grant. I mean,
So,
yeah, we probably should keep that moving forward, but I am still, I mean, this is a piece of property that except maybe for some timber rights, maybe not gonna be a benefit to anybody.
but the decision is down the road, right? Whether or not,
50 houses.
whether or not we do it. Right now, the decision is whether or not to proceed with it.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I get that, but I'm thinking the long game here. I'm not thinking about what we do tonight. I'm thinking about the long game. There's a lot of questions here that I have concerns about. I'm not even sure, I'm not even positive that Old Farm Road there where it's touching it, if that's even road or if that's just a trail that through somebody's property.
That drives, it goes through.
I've driven it many times, but that doesn't mean it's actually road or a right of way.
Well, there is a piece that is part of the road, definitely. Another one up here, it's got house lots. There's two more lots.
Yeah, but I mean,
There's two access points there. There and there.
I mean, I've driven through there many, many, many times, but I know, I don't even know if that's actually town property right away. I simply don't know. No, I'm not saying we don't vote yes tonight. I'm not suggesting that. But I am thinking in the long game. Should we even be doing this? Not, I'd like to see a lot more information.
So I was just sitting in, fly on the wall, Dawn and Doug and somebody named Vanessa, maybe that's partly, maybe that's a state person, but they've been working on trying to get this grant for some reason. I think they are trying to build in connectivity, landscape connectivity between unconnected parcels. I think that was a piece of what I kind of took away from the meeting. Besides the fact that there's that endangered
I mean, they're a good
marbled
half,
salamander.
they're a good half, 3/4 of a mile from the next piece of property.
Mhm.
There's a whole lot of land up in there.
Yeah, there is, but I'm just saying that there's a big gap there between this parcel and the next one.
You know what? Back out to Old Bay Road and then right across the street is all the other way.
I understand that.
I think we should support the grant. Right in,
What?
asking for the grant.
I'm not saying we shouldn't do that. I am not saying that at all.
This is,
But I am saying that I have a lot of questions about, it's not obvious to me how we got to this point.
Sorry, I don't have.
Yeah, no.
context to help.
And this little strip up here, I have no idea. That's completely landlocked. That's of no benefit to anybody. We can't even do a timber harvest there because we can't even access it. That's completely landlocked and I have no clue.
there may be something in the deed with some sort of.
Maybe.
So it looks like there was a CPC application.
I mean, so you see what I'm talking about here? This block up here. And apparently when whoever logged this extended the logging into here because this is a lot denser. So they didn't log this. So whoever logged this. And, but legally, we don't even have access to that. Why, what's the deal with this?
I'm not sure that was that one of the parcels for sure?
It's outlined in red.
Map 105, parcel 3, partial, 1047 partial, 10415, 1041701, 273.
227.3, there it is.
So there was an application for community preservation funding in November.
Did you see that? Oh, you haven't gotten it down there yet?
Okay, money.
No, I'm just, this is not anything that I'm aware of.
Okay,
Are you on the CPC?
he is. He's our representative there.
Oh. This here, total project cost $706,000. CPA funds requested 130. Cost share amount $576,000. Kestrel Land Trust. Okay. This is to fill in the amount that a state land grant would not land, as the acronym would not cover. The project would be the purchase of about 51.6 acres of mixed upland and wetland for conservation. You want me to read this paragraph for the benefit of all? It says it scores highly in 3 natural heritage elements: priority habitat of rare wildlife, estimated habitat of rare wildlife, and potential vernal pools, of which it has 2. There is frontage on Old Farm Road. It scores highly on numerous biomap elements, critical natural landscape, core habitat, rare species core,
What was the total project cost?
706,000. 425,000 plus 25% of purchase price. Goals, supplement
Purchase
benefit,
prices.
protected, available for public recreational use.
That's $15,217.52 an acre.
Is that good or bad?
15,000 an acre, I mean, as it goes, it's not bad, but I mean, what, considering all the timber's been harvested off of it, and considering part of it, some of that acreage is completely isolated and landlocked, and we can't even access it. And it looks like some, the abutter has.
Did you guys recognize that it's somewhat near an aquifer?
Oh, yeah,
We
no,
know that,
we know
right?
that,
Okay, that's what they're.
but it is
saying.
the whole top of the hill.
Okay, let's stop beating that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So we have a motion, but there's nothing else.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion?
It was the motion.
Dave made the motion a while ago. Oh, wait a minute. So, yeah, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes.
Signed. So Ed will sign.
Yeah, I have to sign that. And we got Michael Sears Road for additional tree removal.
So, you want to hear about that?
Yeah. This previous filing?
Fairly recently.
Yeah. They applied in September 2024.
This is Tulpa?
Uh,
That Tulpa?
Matthew and Sarah
Tulpa.
Topa, yes. So the owner requested 5 additional tree removals. Stephanie went out on site and took a look at the trees and created a little summary. She says there's 2 poplar, 3 white pine, all are approximately within 80 feet of the BBW. 4 are very large, old trees leaning toward the proposed house location, and the 5th is going to be choked out by bittersweet. She suggested that it would be okay to remove and to cut down the bittersweet at the same time, which makes sense. She says these trees are the last few remaining early successional trees in the area. The rest of the trees on the property are mostly red maple and hickory. So it's going through succession. She did not observe any obvious important wildlife habitat features like large tree cavities. We had a discussion about the wildlife habitat evaluation. So that, I think, is important for me, looking at trees. Let me just check. What are we cutting down? Yeah, yeah. So then it goes on, 61 Shaw. Just get into that. It's a different site though, right?
Yeah, that's next.
Okay, so that's that. Do you want to approve a minor plan change request, which I guess you're not making motions on, you're just informally conveying your acceptance of that?
What's the current limited work on that property?
So, I should. Sorry.
Yeah, we did it a year or so.
Here is show and tell the map. The trees that, sorry. The trees that were concerning this new owner's house location. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the wetlands over here on this side.
All the trees are inside the limit of work?
Yes. The limit of work is, well, there's 2 buffer zones, right? There's a wetland on this side and a wetland on this side, and the limit of work is yeah. I guess this is not really,
That's limited.
that's outside. So no,
There's a couple of them that are not.
They're all inside the limit of work.
They're all outside the limit of work.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
yeah, actually, you're right.
They're all greater than,
They're all outside of the limit of work.
and two of them were down close to 50.
Mhm.
Do we know why this wasn't included in the original?
Two of them are outside the buffer zone.
What?
I will take them.
This is a better for you. Okay.
Oh, it's like outside. Soon as the 100.
Yes.
Two of them are outside. One is just inside.
It was confusing to me. There's like two wetlands on either side of the property.
Inside, it's still outside of it. See why those are the most impact now.
I think this might have been white pines. I want to think that she didn't label it, but I want to say these are poplars. These What do you guys normally do with this kind of thing? You like what, photographs?
I'm not sure they need to do it.
That's something you want to look at, Dave?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
What's the scale? And there's two that are outside that we don't have anything to say about. These two, that's 75 feet from the house. This is, that's 80 feet from the house.
So the two in the back,
So these are outside the limit of work, but also outside our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
yeah. And why do they want to cut the others? Are they dead or
They're
dying?
worried they're gonna fall on the house.
They're gonna fall in the
That's
house?
what they're worried
So these are some
Which,
tall
which,
about. They'll fall into their like life.
later
This is
succession
50.
lines, is that what we're looking at? So they
Yes.
can be easily over 100.
That's 60, 80, 70 feet away. This is 50 feet away.
what direction are they from the house?
North.
I don't know which ones are the pines.
These are northeast.
I think these are.
These are northwest. Those are north. The two
We
outside
should
of
ask
the,
them to bring in like their own annotated. Understand that. 'Cause this is just a guess.
So what action has Stephanie taken?
She went out there, she looked at it, she's like, oh, look at this, these succession plants, and then these like pines. Makes sense, can understand. She came back,
So she hasn't advised them.
no, except for the idea that if you.
Yeah, okay.
And then she came in and annotated.
So there's two trees that don't require anything from us. And there's three that do.
would we have, yes. We could have approved it. It's just they're just outside the limit. They're just, and they could have been included inside the, and if they're outside of 50. One of them was well outside of 50 and two of them were distance outside of 50. I mean, we could have approved them if they changed their limit of work. So I guess I don't,
Yes, with no stumping?
yes, you must have. Yes, with no stumping. And leave 10 feet up.
Yeah. So cut them high.
Leave the stumps 10 feet. That high? Wow.
What?
You're hard.
Come on in.
Hey,
I'm gonna negotiate.
that's fine.
Well, there leaves some potential habitat. if you
Yeah, I
take a little bit of a stumping.
It's just,
Stump as high as the owner is comfortable. Or you want to
Well,
go
I mean,
number?
10 feet does not provide any threat to.
So stump at 10 feet.
Not
That's your,
gonna fall in there.
That's your answer.
It's not a, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so next up, we got 61 Shaw.
What are they doing?
Is that a stormwater violation?
I don't know, it
Yeah.
doesn't say.
Doesn't say, I didn't know what it was, so I think I found it and okay. The letter went out. This was done by Stephanie. It came on May 26. I think she must have been out there for a stormwater inspection. She said during a routine site inspection on 522, it was observed that sediments have left your property and traveled down the street into a mapped wetland. These sediments will need to be cleaned up. Additional erosion control and best management practices will be required to ensure this doesn't happen again.
How did the sediment?
I don't know how it happened. Yeah, it left the property. I don't know if the silt fence was up or should have been up.
Kind of does look like a mess there, but it's
Yeah.
wondering how the heck that happened.
Shaw runs between Granby Road and Ludlow Road.
All right.
The high numbers of Shaw is down by Adsman's. The low numbers are there by Carmine Angeloni's house. You know where that is. So if you start at Rock Rimmon and Granby Road, you go down Granby Road a little bit, and then Shaw cuts off to the right.
So we're tracking this. We expect they're going to come back into compliance. They're going to be in touch with us. If not, we have a way to keep up. Okay. And similar to the other one is 230 Japish Street.
And what's going on there?
That one is a buffer zone violation.
Bottom of the hill. Right next.
That
to
was the
Jimmy.
one that you and I drove by with Stephanie. And then we talked to them on the
Which side
phone.
of the brook?
South side.
So they were cutting.
Right side going
Well,
down. Right side going down the hill. The little cabin that was for sale down there. On Javish, across from,
On the east side,
it's on the right, yeah.
on the Route 9 side?
East side, yes, on the Route 9 side and on the south side of the.
So Davis's. Okay.
James Molesky
Davis
is the, I think maybe a new owner.
Yeah.
So I spoke with him. He called after he got this notice and sounds like he wants to do a little more work. So I talked to him about filing an RDA, which is basically that mowing.
He's in the riverfront of Javish, and
Yeah.
Javish is definitely ORW there.
And he cut down a pine tree, dropped it in, there's a wetland right beyond the house.
Yep.
And he dropped it right into that, and then he's done a bunch of cutting over along Javish in there. And he owns the property to the, just up the street. He bought
So
that.
we're also tracking him too, because if he doesn't file an RDA, I think I'll call him and say what's going on because you said you were going
But
to
he
do it.
did call the office.
Yep. Yeah, it was really nice. And Stephanie also sent the living with wetlands brochure, and I think he just didn't realize that he can't even necessarily mow. He thinks he can mow the wetlands. Well, or near the wetlands. It's hard to know where he was really talking about. It sounded like he knew that there were wetlands
There was
back
no
there. and
language
he
barriers
wanted-
there, were there?
No,
Was there?
no.
Okay.
So that is the report on violations.
Okay. And we got another A&R on Cold Spring, I would say standard letter.
Okay.
This is another one of that group. You know, the Cold Spring. The Cold Spring Saban corner there.
I have a copy of that. Do you need to see that one?
No, not really. We already know.
Okay.
So that one just gets the standard letter.
Cold Spring Street, yeah.
And that, is there anything else?
Well, Scarborough mowing.
Oh, yeah.
You were, I didn't talk to you after I spoke to Leanne and
Do you want to brief these guys?
Well, I mean, if you got a location, just sit on that, but I mean, the rest of it. I said, if you got a specific location, sit on that, but everything else is good.
well, Let me just say that I took a walk there. They were-
So
Yeah,
can
that's what I
can
gathered afterwards. And I'm wondering if they got it.
Well,
So the reason why we found out about this is that the Natural Heritage called us. I think that was the initial reason, right?
yeah, because you.
They called Stephanie.
They
The telephone game ensued and yeah. Stephanie was able to confirm that it was not like, a death knell, that something horrible happened to a protected plant that's in that area, but that the conservation restriction does say no cutting, picking, or removal of vegetation is allowed. So that might even be like,
There's no mowing allowed?
that's what, it doesn't say mowing, no
So-
cutting or picking. So this is
Look at
the,
number 10. I'm actually wondering if we should reach out to the environmental board.
Well, actually, we should be talking to the Kestrel, because Kestrel is supposed to be the one behind this. Yeah. We should call her.
might have been going with something, but.
Yeah, but if there's been a trespass up there, which it certainly seems like there is.
According to Leanne, there was permission to do seasonal mowing once a year.
Well, that's what she said, but then we're looking in here and it
Yeah.
doesn't seem to say
Oh,
that.
that's what I'm-
Yeah. So we need to confirm the seasonal mowing, okay?
A seasonal
So then-
mowing would be, we would have said is in the fall.
fall or winter. Yeah.
So Natural
Like-
Heritage said it was not like, it's a ruined situation.
It's.
We get that, but
it
it's
was
still-
done about 6 inches high, done about a month ago. It was done with a tractor. The access, I think, came in off of that, through that house just above it.
At Forsyth through the country club.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was suspecting.
So there's a private house here, right?
Yeah.
So it used to be part of this parcel.
Yeah.
And the mowing was taking place somewhere up here?
So,
There's another wetland.
so everything to the east and north of the ponds.
So they just went in there and mowed it
So way up here,
on their own?
Apparently, because the town did not do it.
so where you saw it?
Are they supposed to?
My wife saw it. David and I can show you where it is on here. So everything down in here.
Yeah. They came in this area, oh.
I'm thinking they accessed it up here. It came down into here.
They did. They did come down into there. And then
Did a grandson or something come in and just get enthusiastic with the lawnmower?
No, my wife actually thought, I didn't walk up in there, but my wife got the impression it might have been a brush hog.
looks like tracks, a tired vehicle.
Well, she detected a farm tread, an agricultural
Yeah.
R1 tread.
I saw it.
What brand?
I didn't see it.
It wasn't a Massey Ferguson 65. I can tell you that. Or it wasn't mine.
Or was it a Ford, an 8N or a 9N or a 2N?
So there's a field.
You guys are just showing off the stuff.
Well,
Interested in this at all?
Kestrel may have the deed, the,
Barley extract?
but we're still the landowner.
So the whole entire.
But I mean,
Yeah, I understand. I just,
that was Leanne's suggestion, is talk to Castro. She seems to think that they were wrong.
I think this might be somebody else. I think just as we've had other activity in there that's been not condoned.
She hopes that the person who's been brought in to know it before. It's supposed to be, according to her, it's supposed to be mowed once a year.
what, her property?
No,
It's called the field. Our property, yeah.
So this would have been a project when this was a property that was acquired under Leanne as the former administrator of this mission.
Right.
So she would have had some background. She would have been involved with the acquisition and setting up the conservation restriction, which she is, and I seem to recall it's been issued with, it resides with Kestrel as overseeing the conservation restriction. But I don't see anything in there about mowing.
We're on the case.
So, as I said, once we've done our homework, I am considering that we should reach out to the EPO.
I would call Kestrel first. And find out if they know anything about it. If this is-
Well, as I said, we dot our i's and cross our t's.
Don't call environmental police and talk to them.
I get that. I'm not,
Kestrel tomorrow.
Late mowing, we also protect. Okay, where is property management? Thus, any mowing after the blooming period. Existing hay fields and meadows on the property shown in the land management will be mowed once per year,
Ah, there we go.
October, along with the adjacent fields. The literature suggests that,
we're a day or two early.
yeah, or late.
Well, we're really late if they could have mowed it in March before anything started. I would.
Yeah, I mean, I go between October and March, is what I suggest for mowing. So you'd either do it in the middle of the winter. I like to do it actually in the winter because then all the value is gone. So there is mowing allowed, where there's miscommunication, let's work it through that.
We
And
will.
it's possible that Stephanie's already gotten in touch with Chris at Kestrel, and I just haven't tracked it. So I'll try to reach her tomorrow, Chris, at
So
Kestrel.
it does advise or require or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but this looks like a early to mid-May mowing,
It looks like it was done, yes.
Okay.
because I was up there about 9 days ago and mowing was done then.
It looked to me, I mean, things were up, things were growing. It looked like 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
My trained eye.
Voice. And then
That was my thought as well.
any other requests for follow-up on the Scarborough mowing? All right. We'll try to give you an update on the 22nd. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that one,
Okay.
that one email us as you find.
All right. As soon as we
Keep
learn
Dave,
anything.
keep David and I in the loop on that one.
Okay. All right, thanks. All right.
I moved to move.
Also, Mullen certificates, anybody have any questions about that? Okay. We're just warming up to this new idea, this new practice of like using the form, since we now have confirmed that we actually did have permission to use this Mullins rule, which gives you a little more flexibility. Go on breaks, vacations, birthday parties, sick, miss something and not have to not be able to vote. So it's cool, it's a good thing.
Stick around for a second.
So that's all.
Great, thank you. Excellent job. Hit the ground running.
Okay, well, if you can shut that down.
I move we adjourn.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Would you like this?